And start streaming. All right. Hey, what's up, guys? Joker here, joined once again by Brian from Tech City. Let me make sure. Yep, my mic is actually working this time. It's actually getting picked up at the beginning of the stream, like last week where we had that technical difficulty.
Yeah,
But
well, we're back and we're ready to go for another hour.
yeah,
So,
it's been definitely a busy week with E3 going on. Have you done anything amazing this week? Any new tech? Any new hardware you get this week at all, or anything games wise?
nothing really. Just I was following E3. Really, some impressive games.
Oh yeah,
So,
it's been a great E3, one of the best I think in recent memories, and we're gonna have a lot of E3 topics to cover here today. Pretty much all E3, basically, even the graphics cards, yeah, because that's where it was
y-
announced.
yeah. So definitely, it's going to be a great show. So stay tuned, guys. Woo!
Yeah, you get woke up there, coffee starting to kick
Yeah,
in.
the
Yeah.
coffee's kicking in, guys.
All
It's
right.
like
So, all right,
five,
let's go ahead
6 a.m.
then. We'll get fired into the first topic on the list is the R9 300 series and the Fury X cards were announced yesterday during the PC Gamer show from E3. They were broadcasting that on Twitch and it was being held by PC Gamer, and it was awesome to see that because we've never seen anything like that before. Like a big PC
Yeah.
Gamer broadcast at E3. It's always consoles and that's it.
Well, that was good. I mean, it just shows that AMD's really enthusiastic about PC gaming. I think that's the best thing to come out of that. And like, I mean, the price, I think the price of was it the R9 to 380? So, I mean, even though it's going to be a 280X rebrand, it's still going to be RRP of $200. And whether that scales through to the rest of the world, that'll be a good thing, especially if international pricing can match all that, right? So,
Yeah.
like in Australia, if you pick it up for $220, it's still going to be a great buy. So I think that's some positive thing coming out of the rehashes there. But I think the main thing to focus on was that AMD Fury X. But what was your thoughts on the 3 Series before we get onto the Fury X?
I mean, I think I'm not sure how it's going to be received yet by the entire community as far as basically being a rebrand. It's basically, a rebrand of the 200 series with more video memory. So there's that aspect, but, I think if you're already on the 200 series, obviously there's not going to be a whole lot of reason there to upgrade unless you really need that VRAM for like 4K or modding, things like that. But if you haven't upgraded and you're still haven't upgraded maybe in a few years and you are at that entry level and you don't want to spend a ton of money, you can get the 380, which is going to be priced at $200. The 390 is $330. So really good entry level cards for people coming in that aren't on the enthusiast level looking to do like the Fury X or 980 Ti, things like that. So it
Well,
definitely
plus
it,
you,
it definitely has its
yeah.
place.
Well, plus you got FreeSync. I mean, they're bringing in FreeSync. They're working on that.
Yeah.
So they're doing some real good things for the gaming community. I just think like obviously there's that architectural problem there, right? Like we all know that Maxwell is superior to AMD. I think they're calling it Hawaii or Grenada. Like they're just
Fiji or
giving this
Fiji
this
now.
same yeah, well they're giving this same architecture so many different names, and I think you can't fool the tech community with these names, right?
Right.
I mean that's going to be a detriment going in for AMD is that they do have an inferior architecture on the GPU side of things. So, I mean, and it's pretty much guaranteed at this point that Fury will have that same architecture, right? Just it will be a bigger die with more cores shoved in there.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the Fury has only got 4 gigs in there. This is
yeah,
only the 300 series, the 390X is doing the whole 8 GB thing, which is kind of an odd position. I thought that it would definitely have more VRAM.
yeah. I mean, the VRAM's obviously the issue, but we're talking about the actual
Yeah,
GPU
yeah, the actual
itself. So,
GPU.
I
Oh yeah, the
mean,
actual architecture of the
yeah,
GPU is definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, Maxwell is faster. It's more efficient.
Well, yeah, it's got the compression technology in there. I mean, it is superior. Like if you deny that, then you're an AMD fanboy. Like that's pretty simple. But going in, I mean, it's looking good that they're definitely focusing on the PC gaming aspect, and I think that's a market where AMD is really popular at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm very keen to see what they do with this R9 3 series launch. So. But you want to talk about the Fury X? We'll move on to the Fury.
Yeah,
The
I
X.
think I think yeah, I think the Fury is probably going to be the bigger competition for Nvidia in this go around, especially since they're doing a dual GPU card, and the Fury X is basically it's beating 980 Ti Titan X by a little bit. Obviously, it doesn't have the VRAM there, but as far as the GPU though, it is beat. It's they're saying it is going to beat out the 980 Ti by a few frames in most games there, but you're still missing out on GameWorks and all that. So that
I
that I
will.
feel like you're missing out on a lot there. That, in my personal opinion, I know not everyone cares about that stuff as much.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about. I guess we'll talk about GameWorks and that stuff next week because that's a big topic in itself. But I mean,
Yeah,
the Fury X, I'm really looking forward to seeing what it can do. My one gripe with it is though that they're using Ace Tech coolers. I mean, like I'm sorry to say, but I've had an Ace Tech cooler in the past, and it's garbage, man. Like
yeah,
2,000 hours and it busted down. Like if I got a Fury, it'd either be an air cooled version or it would be like I'm taking off this Ace Tech crap and putting on a custom cooler because and a lot of my viewers know too, Ace Tech's not the best when it comes to water cooling, so uh, that's just straight up. So yeah, like I'll probably be getting the air cooled version. Like I'm really looking forward to the air cooled Fury X version, straight out of the box. So I'm keen to see what they do with this, man. Like it does look pretty good, and the HBM does look really good. So I mean, even though it's only got 4 GB on it, and how's that going to actually perfect performance in games? That's especially since it's going to be a 4K card, right? Since 980 Ti is
yeah.
kind of targeted at that 4K section. How's that 4 GB going to play into
Well,
come into play?
it definitely remains to be seen because they have the high bandwidth memory there. So they're seeing limits with that obviously, and it's going to have a higher bandwidth. So they might be able to push more across, 1 GB. I mean, does 1 GB equal 1 GB with high bandwidth memory?
Yeah, well, it remains to be seen how it's actually going to work when it comes to games. So I am really keen to see what the Fury X can do. It's really good. I don't know about just straight away announcing the X2 though. Like they're just straight away focusing on the
Yeah.
dual GPU solution. That worries me a little bit and saying, okay, like we're just going to go focus on the X2. Like, what about the single GPU solution? Because me personally, I'm not a big fan of SLI or Crossfire. That's just me. In my experience with dual GPU setups, I'm just not a big fan. For instance, one of my viewers, he's actually got a channel. His name's Totally Silenced, and he
Yeah, I know
recently
him.
had two
He
nine.
messages
Yeah,
me.
he's a really cool guy. He's got two 970s, and he recently upgraded to a 980 Ti. And he says he's getting better performance on one 980 Ti than on two 970s, just in general real
Yeah,
world conditions.
I've heard that from other people too.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like, okay, well, the single GPU solution is the most efficient, right? When we're talking about just cores for frames.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, I mean, just them just going straight out and focusing on the X2, it kind of, to me, it seems like a bit of a concede vote from AMD. Like, hey, we're not going to compete on the single GPU solution, maybe? I don't know.
Well, I think
So
I think the Fury X is going to be some stiff competition since it is priced competitively.
Mm.
It's priced the same thing as the 980 Ti, and they are going to be they're going
Yeah.
to be going neck and neck for frames. I mean,
Yeah.
if AMD can deliver on the drivers, I think it's going to be very competitive. It's going to have its fans out there.
Yeah.
I think Nvidia is probably still going to take the market share there, and the Fury X will be exciting for a while, at least until Pascal comes out, and we'll see what it can do with DirectX 12 when we start seeing stuff like
Yeah,
that
true.
rolling around in a few months.
Well, see, DirectX 12 is huge, and I guess we're gonna have to talk about that a little bit. But because you've got like we're all like, I mean, I live in a first world country. You live in a first world country. It's DirectX 12 is going to make a huge difference for those games that run on potatoes. Like we're talking. If you've been to the average web cafe in like Thailand, you know what I'm talking about, man. These guys play games religiously on really crap computers.
Yeah.
So DX12 is going to bring that low level of gaming up a notch. So generally, I mean, in general, a lot of our games are going to play a lot better.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to DX12. I mean, we'll talk about that as well in probably next week.
We could that could definitely that could definitely be a topic in its own right. We got a lot of games to get through.
Yeah, we do actually. So we should get on to the first big one.
Well, but before we do that, I actually wanted to go ahead and really quickly announce the winner of our Batman Arkham Knight giveaway that we were hosting last week.
Nice.
So we had a lot of people enter to win, but only one person can win. And I did the drawing right before the show. And Thomas Edwards of San Antonio, Texas, was the winner of the contest. So if you're here watching live, then just be on the lookout for an email or a message on social networking either this evening or early tomorrow, and I'll let you get the key. So congratulations, Thomas.
Congratulations. Yeah, and stay tuned, guys, because we're going to be doing more giveaways. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be doing more giveaways.
Yep.
Don't worry, giveaways are coming.
Yep, and I can't wait for Batman 2 coming out in about a week's time. It's going to be a great game, I think.
Yeah, that looks really good. So.
Yeah. So, but on to E3 now with the gaming news. The first game that I think both of us wanted to talk about. I know over the weekend it was the most trending game at E3 when they were looking at people's tweets about what game people wanted to see the most, and it was Battlefront. Pretty much all throughout the weekend, and from what they showed 2 videos. Have you seen both, or which one did you see? Yeah.
Oh, well, I really liked the one with the vehicles, like the sort of the pre-stage one.
The Hoth one?
With Darth Vader at the end with Luke Skywalker. Yeah. I mean, that looked really good. Like the actual vehicle play looked insanely good. I'm going to say, like, I really like the vehicle aspect of that. Like, that looks like a lot of fun, especially, like the calling down the airstrikes, popping up the force field. That's innovative gaming, man. And then, of course, you got this whole Star Wars theme, right? Like, yeah.
Well, yeah. That's the definite cool factor there for that.
Yeah, it did look impressive. My only gripe, and I'll point this out, is it did look a little bit battlefieldy on the actual guns. Mm-hmm. And like I thought the guns look a little bit skinny, and the hands there, it kind of looks like some scrawny teenagers holding a gun, right? Like I just like when I play a game, I like to get into it a little bit, and sort of I think that's always been one little gripe with it, is that the vehicles looked perfect. It's just then kind of like you were sucked in a vacuum sometimes on the first player aspect of it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I took out from it.
Yeah, I thought
and obviously it kind of felt like you still had that Battlefield 4 look on the first person. I mean, since it is using the same engine, right? I guess that's safe to assume. But you go on now. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought my favorite part about the vehicles was seeing like the TIE fighter and the sand speeder in first person. That was pretty cool to see. And going around the AT-AT, we saw what we had already known, is that it's basically going to be on rails, which is really unfortunate that you're not going to actually get to manually control the AT-ATs or the AT-STs. You're basically just sitting on the top, firing a gun. And what they showed in this really looked like kind of overpowered. I'll see if I could find it here on the video I'm skimming through. But he basically calls in, here it comes. He calls in an orbital strike on this base where there's a flag, and he takes out like 5 guys at once, like boom, 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 boom. It's just gone. So I think that's gonna be a really fun game mode. That it looked like Rush, where you're basically escorting an AT-AT through the side of Hoth, and you're taking these satellites, which I'm assuming are going to help your team to advance in some way. It's going to help you advance, or you're going to need to activate those in order to progress beyond that point, which is very Rush-like. And then they throw in the AT-AT to have the cool Star Wars theme, it's pretty awesome to see. But I would like to be able to manually control that AT-AT.
Oh, well, I want to jump in the AT-ST, man. I've always loved them. Hey.
Yeah.
So it looks awesome.
Yeah, and
it does look awesome.
Yeah, and you could take him down by wrapping the tow cable around him and knocking him down just like Luke did in the movies. It just looks like a hell of a lot of fun, and hopefully EA actually pulls it off and makes a good game. But I also saw the second video. I thought that map actually looked better than Hoth. I liked some of the lighting effects on that map. I thought it looked really, really nice, and I think it's cool to see that they are adding in sort of like a horde survival mode. Kind of like reminded me almost like of Mass Effect's multiplayer. Did you play that much?
Not much at all.
No, I got a lot of fun out of it. I thought it was difficult. It was fun to play with a group of people on a game that is normally reserved, for single player only. But I thought it looked like a lot of fun, and I thought the graphics on that other map that they showed looked really, really impressive. I thought it looked better than Hoth with the lighting and everything. Really, really cool looking.
Well, I will say one thing about Battlefront, though, and this is, they do have to focus on the competitive aspect of the game if they want it to be, have a continually good player base. Because, You know, if you remember, what's Star Wars: The Old Republic, right? You know that mass multiplayer online game.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the Old
You
Republic.
know that when it first came out, man, such a huge player base. Like everyone was playing it.
Oh yeah.
Got to the end game, the multiplayer was just crap. It was unbalanced.
People
You know,
actually
it
made it to the
was
end game. I didn't even make it that
yeah,
far.
yeah, but like, well, people, you know, it's the World of Warcraft diehard fans playing it, and they got to the end, and it was just so imbalanced. Like it was stupid. The multiplayer was just bad, and so you know, you have to make sure it's somewhat balanced. And
Yeah.
if things are overpowered, you've got to quickly nerf that. Like you've got to do it quickly, because people will just be like, "Oh, I hate this," and then they'll quit the game. So they've kind of got to really focus on balancing the competitive multiplayer aspect of it if they want a successful game. So that's one thing they'll definitely want to get right from the get go. So, you know, it doesn't have to be the most perfect game, but just, yeah, really focus on and make sure things aren't too overpowered. So otherwise, that'll pretty much just push people off.
Given their past with things like the UCAV on Battlefield 4, and now like this airstrike on the AT-AT, I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in EA and Dice, but hopefully they'll get it
Yeah.
right this time. Hopefully there won't be any netcode issues or really massive game breaking bugs for like a
Well,
year. But you know,
well, see, that's the thing a lot of people are worried about is the net code, and is that going to affect it since it's based on the same engine? And, you know, Battlefield 4 has just been plagued with netcode problems,
well,
man.
it's gotten a lot better recently, and they need to get all of those fixes into this game.
Well, it's funny, man, because in Japan, like, they've got, everywhere I go, they've got, like, top 10 games. And, like, Hardline's not even in the top 10.
No, not for PC. It's not. They're
Yeah.
me and
No,
my
not
friends
for
are always
anything.
me and my friends are always looking, and like Chivalry Medieval Warfare. There are more people playing that right now than Hardline on the PC. There's more people
Yeah.
playing Rust. There's more people playing DayZ. You name it. More people are. There's like maybe like I think there was like 1,300 people online
Yeah.
like concurrently on Hardline like over the weekend. That's nothing.
Well, it shows that puts a smile on my face because it shows that we're all wired in as a community. And, you know, if they're going to just release shit, then we're just going to respond and not buy it. Like I just said, I'm not buying this fucking game. Like, I'm not buying this fucking game, man. Sorry, you know, whatever. Sorry, guys. It's just, yeah, I'm not having another bar of it where I'm sick. Like, honestly, I'm at here. Here's my level. You know, getting ripped off from these game devs. I'm right at that level, man. I don't want
It's
to be
like
ripped
one
off.
more rip off, and you're just like, I'm fucking done. I'm just fucking
Yeah,
done.
like I'm done. Just, you know,
So that-
chucking my computer out the window. Just done.
Like Ubisoft is already out there for me. They're already pretty much done. Like and now
Yeah.
EA is right at that level. They're pretty damn close. Like you know they're starting
Yeah.
to get into that. You know, especially with Battlefield specifically, they're starting to get into that area
Yeah.
where they could
Well,
sort of
there's a good solution for that. You got a dollar store near where you are,
yeah.
like a used. Yeah, I've got a heap of like $1 keyboards here, man. And some of them, you know, they occasionally one's flying out the window, so it's a good fix, you know.
Oh no, man, this new
So
keyboard's really heavy. I don't think I could actually throw this thing. This thing is a brick.
Review sample out the window.
Passes the test.
It passes the durability test. Awesome.
All right, let's go on.
All right,
Our,
so-
go on our next
yeah.
game. Yeah. All right. So this one is something I was really excited about when I was streaming the other
Yeah.
night. I was telling there people were like, "Oh, what do you wish people you would see? You know, more than anything." I was like Gears of War on PC, and I thought that was like just a Hail Mary shot. I didn't think there was a chance in the world that would actually happen. And when I saw Rod Ferguson come out on stage during the PC Gamer thing, I was playing Rust at the time. I had the show on my left side. I was barely even listening to it, but I heard him say Rod Ferguson. I was like, "What's he doing there?" I was like, "What's he doing there?" I was like, "He would be."
going on here?
I was like, "He wouldn't be there unless he was announcing Gears for PC." And surely he did, and I fucking lost it. I absolutely lost it. I can't wait for this game. And I did a video earlier, and I did say that I wasn't sure if it was going to have 144 hertz support. So if you saw that and you were excited by it, I went back and watched this, and you could hear him actually say unlimited frame rate on the PC. He said
Oh, that's awesome.
he said it really, really quickly, so that's why I missed it. But he said, you know, up to 4K support, unlimited frame rate, better textures and graphics. I cannot wait for this game to come out. Hopefully, it comes out in August because it comes out on Xbox One, August 25th. And I don't know about you. Did you play much Gears of War back on the 360? Or did you play the
Nah,
first Gears on PC?
yeah. See, I'd never got a 360, so I didn't bother with it. But you know, if you're raving about Gears of War, I'm definitely gonna get it. And since it's coming to PC, man, you know, if you're saying the multiplayer is that much fun, I'm definitely looking looking out for this game.
It is. It's
So
it's one of the like those my favorite like console games that when you transition to like being full time on the PC and you don't have the new consoles. Well, I do have a PS4, but I basically gave it away because I played like
oh
one
really?
game. I gave it to my brother. I played The Last of Us on it, and then I was like, "This is just sitting here. Why don't you take it?" And he was like, "Okay." And so like I wasn't gonna get an Xbox One to play the new Gears or the remastered because I couldn't play a shooter like that with a controller, but.
Yeah.
So, really, for me to play this game, it would have to come out on PC. So, basically,
Well, yeah,
like, my dream came
my
true.
brother. Well, my brother, he's buying me a PS4. Like he's a PS4 fanboy. So I'm like, he's like, you got to play Destiny. So I'm like, all right, well, he's like, I'll buy you the PS4. I'm like, okay, free PS4, sure.
Yeah.
So, well, he set me up a Destiny account. 'Cause he's coming over later this month. Just set me up a Destiny account, or everything's ready to go. So he really wants me to play on the PS4. So I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. So.
I really
Why
haven't.
not?
I really haven't been too keen to try the game. I saw a lot of gameplay of it and saw people talking about it. I was just, if it was on PC, I would definitely try it. But I'm not gonna like lose my shit over it. It wasn't like GTA 5 where it's like this game needs to be on PC. Like it wasn't like
it's
that
just,
level for me.
well, it's just weird because I've never seen my brother been addicted to a video game before, and he's addicted to a video game, so it must be doing something right. So,
Yeah.
uh,
So our next game was one that you actually had wanted to talk about from the first day during the Bethesda conference was Doom. So like, what did you think of that?
yeah. See, this is weird. And I'm probably going to cop some hate for it, but I absolutely loved the Doom 4, the Doom 4 gameplay. As soon as I
Well,
watched it, man,
it's just
I
Doom.
was,
Remember, it's just Doom, not Doom 4, just Doom.
yeah. I mean, yeah, just Doom. I know. I just technically call it Doom 4, so we
Yeah.
know where we're going.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I actually really liked this. Not like the graphics looked so fluid. I look for that in a game because if you're going to step it up, especially if you're going on the higher, and I do intend to get a 140 hertz monitor,
Yeah.
144 hertz. It just looked fluid, man. Like it looked really, really well done. Now there was some things that obviously I'm going to point out, like there was just no voice in there. But if you've read the Doom book, and this is one thing, if you've read the Doom, like I thought the Doom actual novel was really well written. Like I loved it. And it was just this story of this lonely, strong, badass guy. He just goes in there and just absolutely mauls these monsters. And that's what I got that feeling from the demo. And sort of, see, I enjoyed the book more than the game back in the day. And if I can if that sort of matches the book and matches the novel, then I'm going to be excited because I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was just badass. It looked like it catered for competitive high APM play, and I really liked that. Like I was looking at the actual gameplay. The graphics looked pretty good in my opinion, but the gameplay looked really fun as well.
Yeah.
So there's two. I mean, obviously, there was no voice. I was like, okay, there's no story, there's no voice here, but it looked good. The gameplay did excite me like a lot.
Well,
I don't know why.
I was hoping that there would be more voice and story after seeing like what they did with Wolfenstein last year. Like that's basically where my expectation level is right now with Bethesda for this revitalization of the franchise. That I want them to do for Doom what they did with Wolfenstein: The New Order, because that game was one of the best single player shooters I played in years, and one of the best reboots hands down.
Well, see, Bethesda's definitely getting their hands in multiplayer as well. So if they do a good job on the single player, man, they make these nice, awesome levels, like kind of like Unreal Tournament. I think if they can get that sort of multiplayer aspect into the game, like it'll be awesome, man. Like I'm actually really looking forward to Doom. That was like my favorite pick from the whole E3 was Doom. Yeah. I don't know why, but
what did you think of the chainsaw? I kind of got bored with the animations. Like I know a lot of people were going crazy for that, but I was like, it's kind of boring.
Yeah, I mean the chainsaw is something. Obviously, honestly, if you played the chainsaw's just been for fun.
Yeah,
so I mean,
it's got to be in there for like the old time's sake, basically.
Yeah, and so I really didn't care about the chainsaw too much. I just thought like the super shotgun, the plasma, the plasma rifle, those things were really cool. The pulse rifle, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just thought the guns looked really good. The chainsaw obviously was badass, but you were right. The animations were like, okay, this is a bit overdone, but it was pretty kick-ass though. Like I must admit.
Yeah, that double barrel shotgun looked really cool. Like all the reload animations and the weapon handling looked great. And
yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I did like it.
Yep.
And the double jump,
Yep.
that was pretty
Yeah,
good.
like a
Like I just
jetpack,
like,
basically. I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's definitely my favorite pick, man. I don't know why, but I just really got into that demo. It's just like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I found myself more interested in that game that night than Fallout 4,
Mm.
which we don't have up here to talk about today because we did talk about Fallout 4 a lot last week.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
we did
So,
get to see more gameplay. If you wanted to touch on, did you have anything you wanted to say about Fallout 4 or after
oh, I
seeing the
mean,
gameplay?
obviously, yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, I just, yeah, like I watched Fallout 4, but for me, it was like Doom really took my like, yeah,
Yeah.
Doom was just like, and of course the Battlefront vehicles, that was just like, wow. So they were like my two best picks for E3. I mean, Fallout 4, we already kind of saw what was going on there.
Uh huh.
Now it's kind of we have to wait for the game to see what they deliver with Fallout 4. Same with all these other games, right? Same with Battlefront. You know, they can show a good trailer on just like a closed server, but when it goes to the internet, how's it going to play?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I like that they showed as much gameplay as they did of Fallout 4. I'm looking forward to at least trying it and seeing, where the story goes because I thought it looked interesting. I like the
yeah,
sound of the plot and all that, so definitely going to give it a
yeah,
try. Not going to spend $120 on a Pip Boy because, well, right now they don't even support Android, and I just got an S6 Edge, so I won't even be able to use it. Poor
yeah,
me, poor me. But yeah, so next one was something you had wanted to talk about. I thought it looked really cool too. Was the Minecraft Hololens?
yeah. The
That was like the
Hololens.
Hololens looks amazing. I mean that demo we saw like a couple months ago where the guy was like in the living room and could put up the TV and his Skype and like make it as big as he wants. Like all that looked cool. I'm concerned about how the picture's going to look on it, the image quality, but everything they're showing so far looks awesome, and this looked pretty cool too.
It looked insane, right? It's just a completely different experience that you're not used to. I mean,
And they chose
like,
they chose the right game too here. I mean,
yeah.
that's a perfect
And
game.
well, it makes you wonder, like, Microsoft acquired Minecraft and makes you wonder if they had this in the works
I'm
before they
sure
even
they
acquired.
probably did. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah, this is like
they're
their first showing
looking.
since they acquired it. Really, the first thing they've done.
Well, you see, Minecraft's graphics aren't that intensive, so I guess it would be in essence a lot easier to make something. Of course, it's not easy to do this kind of thing, but it would be, less strenuous on the devs to make Minecraft sort of simulations than it would be to make, like a high-end graphical game.
Uh huh.
So it's interesting that they did Minecraft because it's got such a strong following. It's got a huge player base, and I think they're looking for that to pull the HoloLens when if they release it, when they bring it to market, they're looking for this to carry it kind of. And I think it could. Like it looked really good. Like I was just like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's insane. It's
Yeah.
bringing up the level. It's like it's just throwing you into a 3D world. Kind of that's what they were getting at. And it looked
It looks amazing. I mean, the even just the like stuff outside of Minecraft, just I don't know,
yeah.
having all that stuff to interact with around you in a 3D space. I mean, I hope it looks as good as they're showing it on all these streams because if it's all buggy and flickery, then no one's going to want to use it. It's going to have to
That
be immersive. You're going to have to really think it's right in front of you.
yeah, like you just get a blue screen on your HoloLens. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's going to be like Star Wars had this in 1977. We can't get something a little bit better here. Like, come on.
Yeah. Just face palm, but then you hit the HoloLens and you break it. Oh,
Yeah, this. I mean,
30-day Amazon return policy.
yeah, I like that they're doing something different here. Like with VR, they're working on something externally, kind of different from other VR headsets. So I
Yeah.
think that's what really sets the HoloLens apart from everything else.
Well, for me, it was kind of like scary a little bit too, because you kind of like, wow, this is actually, you're putting on a lens and then you're getting into this whole 3D world, like the Matrix a little bit. It kind of, was a little bit, like, whoa, it opened
Yeah,
my eyes. It was a huge eye opener.
yeah,
So it's kind of like, it was awesome, but it was a little bit scary at the same time. Like, wow, this is where the future's going, and this is reality. And
uh-huh.
I've said in the past, man, these VR headsets, man, they're the future. So another 10 years time, imagine what's going to be out.
Definitely.
So like, whoa. So I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, not much else to say. I mean, it looked awesome. I was impressed with the demo.
Uh huh.
Yeah, and so you want to head over to the For Honor. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, it did a like I got to admit this was sort of I mean like yeah you're right you've got that shadow of Ubisoft there and I mean they've done a lot of fuck ups in the past let's face it everyone like you know but what we're looking at here was actually a very freaking cool game like I was loving this from what I saw so far um but you know obviously you were talking about you know in Division and we'll talk about that you know you talked about the graphical downgrade there. What we're showing here, you know, they're just gonna drop that down in a year's time. Okay, we're just dumbing this down for consoles, and then they're gonna give us a crap, you know, graphical downgrade and just smear shit all over the screen. You know, is that gonna happen with this game? So that's you know that's what our reservations, I guess, are about there. But it did look really cool. Like it looked really fluid. The actual fighting looked rather than you know that Shadows of Mordor sort of auto attacking animation crap. You know, it looked. Mm, nah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. So yeah, mine too. Yeah, like I want real time gameplay, none of this automated crap. You know. Um. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. I mean, it looks definitely like from what we saw though, it looked really cool. So I'm hoping. I'm hopeful for this one. So just yeah, but you're right. Ubisoft and that track record. So yeah. 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 Yeah, well, I mean, Dota 2 is a different kettle of fish altogether. It's like a MOBA sort of two D game. But I mean, like, I mean, yeah, obviously, actually, that was something we should have talked about too. It was Dota 2 is actually getting a whole new engine revamp. Maybe we can talk about that next week. But that looks really interesting, yeah, because I mean, that's a game that's just developed for PC. So I'm actually really curious. You know, a lot of these games, like, we've got that problem always shadowing over our heads, and that's like, you know, these games being dumbed down for the PS4 and the Xbox One because we all know that they've got, you know, lackluster hardware compared to PC in there. And so I'm just, you know, I'm always concerned when we see these awesome demos, what's going to happen? Just like the In Division, right? Tom Clancy's.
Yeah.
You know, when you showed me that, I was just like, whoa, that's pretty bad. Like that was really bad, you know? That graphical downgrade, that first, you know, from the E3, was it 2012? Was it the 2012 E3?
For which one? Oh, for the Division.
For the yeah.
Yeah, 2013, the one that I yeah
2013, yeah.
yeah the
Yeah,
graphics on that.
that looked really good. It looked like really fluid, you know, just really well done. And
Yeah,
then you showed me, and I was like, oh, whoa,
yeah,
this just looks like they've copy pasted the engine from the PS2, you know.
yeah. One
So,
one thing that we didn't get to see like any combat that would be indicative of it. But I remember in that first gameplay when I kept watching it over and over, going to do the video, was when they were shooting the cop car. The windows you could see like little pieces of glass busting out as the bullets would fly through like double windshields. It was
yeah,
like just spitting glass all over. Like that looked really cool. And I would have liked to have seen if that was still in there. I hope it is still in there because that was like one of the coolest things I saw in that.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm kind of wondering, you know, because I think that game was like it either won or it came second on like the top picks of E3. And I was like, okay, why don't they mention the graphical downgrade? It like stinks of you know, paid offism. Paid offism. That's got to be a new word. So, but yeah, I mean, this For Honor gameplay though, for what it's worth, it looks pretty cool already. So I'm just hoping to see more advancements there. Hoping to see what it can do.
Yeah.
But You want to move on to the next big piece of news? Like this is
Yeah,
actually
that
pretty
was.
big.
Yeah, I know you were excited about this one. I'll let you take it.
Yeah, Dark Souls 3, right? So we're moving into a game that is just again, it's a dark world. It's, it looks real. I mean, even though like a lot of these games, you're not seeing any gameplay, it's just a reveal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd love to see some gameplay, but they've announced Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 2 was pretty good. I actually enjoyed that. So I'm really looking forward to this game. I'm looking forward to a few other games, but this is one of those games that I'm kind of looking forward to. But it does say they're possibly PC, so I'm a little bit worried about that. So it might just be like Dark Souls 2, yeah, where the game's just delayed for the
Yeah.
PC.
Yeah, that would be
So
unfortunate. Hopefully they get a better port this time around. I wasn't happy with the first one or the second one. I know the second one was better than the first, but
yeah,
I still wasn't happy with the look or the feel of the game.
yeah,
That's why I couldn't get into 1 and 2, but I did play Demon Souls back in the day on the PS3. That was excellent.
yes. It does. I mean, the consoles concern me there. It's like these fucking consoles. I gotta say that.
It holds it back. It really does as far as how
does,
it looks and everything.
Yeah. So
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry. Yeah. So I mean, that possibly PC. I mean, that concerns me. So I'd love to see games sort of being designed with the PC as top priority. But obviously, but we got to talk about that because it comes down to the sales, right? I mean, they're getting a lot of sales on the One and the 4, like the Xbox One and the PS4. They got to go where the money is, and that's understandable. If you're a game developer, you want to get paid for your work. So, at the end of there is the devil's advocate playing in there, like, we are sort of greedy as PC gamers. We want everything made for us, but I guess in that regard, we don't have the hugest player base when it comes to AAA titles. I don't know, for some reason, like the multiplayer games are freaking huge.
It depends. I mean,
on
sometimes
PC.
it really depends. I mean, you'll get one game that'll come out and everyone will just lose their shit. Everyone will be playing it, and then you can have something come out that's immensely popular on console and nobody will play it on PC because we're just like, everyone just kind of unites. We're just like, nah, we're not going to put up with their shit, so fuck them. We're just not gonna play your game.
And that's true. And the pricing, they got to price games fairly as well. I mean, a lot of these AAA titles that are coming out are really ridiculous. Like, like we're talking in Australia, it'd be like 90 AUD. In Japan, it'd be like, $100. I mean, in America, it's like 60. But what do you feel is a fair price for a AAA title when it's released? See, I was thinking like $40. I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, if they
I don't usually like to spend more than 45. I mean, if I can, if I can get it on like Green Man Gaming or on G2A for like $45, then I'm usually a buyer at that price on a new game if it's something I'm excited about, like Battlefront or something along those lines.
Yeah, we'll see with Battlefront. I'm actually not pre-ordering that because just the track record. I got burned with BF4, man, and got really burned with that. So I'm going to wait for it to come out and see, what people say. Oh, is the net code having problems or whatnot? If it is, put it on the back burner, Wait till that. Wait till that one's $5,
Yeah. Speaking of AAA titles, like, how much you'd pay for it, there's other things that are coming out, like the next topic, which was Rising 2. They're doing Rising Storm 2, which was an expansion off of Red Orchestra 2, and now they're doing a Vietnam expansion off of that, which is really, really cool. I was excited to see this. It originally had started out for a mod. Now it's going to be its own full-fledged thing. And it looked really cool. But this is one of those things that I know when it comes out from Tripwire, it's probably going to be like $20-25. Rising Storm 2, 1, I should say, was $20 when it came out, I'm pretty sure. So for something like this, though, I would happily plop down to $40, $50, because I'm going to spend so much time playing this, and they put their heart into their games and just make a good, solid product for day one. And it's not, they don't have like a big advertising budget like Battlefield games do or Battlefront, Call of Duty, but they have their loyal following on PC, and you'll probably find more people on any given day playing Rising Storm right now than you will on Battlefield Hardline, or probably even competing with like BF4.
No, that's sweet. Well, I mean, like Vietnam, the title, that looks really good. Like I haven't played a game that focuses on Vietnam, so this is the actual World War. Sorry, not the World War, but the Vietnam War. And this will be awesome. Like, man, the strategies and stuff like that, I could see this being a huge hit, like if they do it right. So, I mean, like, Vietnamese hiding in the trees and stuff like that, it'd be interesting to see what they do with this game. I mean, we just saw a trailer. Yeah, we didn't actually see gameplay.
Yeah,
So
it was a gameplay trailer, but I'm sure
yeah,
I'm pretty confident. You know, I know what it's going to be since it's just built off of Rising Storm.
yeah,
It's basically going to be that in Vietnam, and that just sounds awesome to me. And hopefully, we'll
it
get some
does,
nice
doesn't it?
licensed tracks thrown in there, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm actually pretty hopeful for this too. It's just like one of those cool games that's coming to PC, baby. And that's
Did you play much Rising Storm or Red Orchestra 2?
no. Well, see, I didn't actually. So
No.
that's
Well,
this is one
we
where
got to get you on there, man. You could probably pick you get them both together now. You can get them for like $5 like during the Steam sale right now. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay, well, I'll go get it today.
it's
Yeah.
really worth getting. It's
Okay.
awesome. One of the best World
Well,
War
again,
II shooters out there. Still that people are
so
still
do you
playing.
know? Do you know what engine it uses? Like, does it use a specific engine compared to other PC games?
It's the same engine as Killing Floor 2. I can't remember if it's. I don't know if it's Unreal or not. Maybe we could look it up. Let's look it up, man. Live
Okay.
on the show. Red Orchestra
Yeah,
2
just yeah.
engine. Unreal Engine. There you go.
Unreal. Oh, sweet. All right. Well, I'll definitely be buying that today. I
Yeah.
love the Unreal Engine. It was fast paced, man.
Yeah, I thought it might be Unreal.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is not a fast-paced shooter. This is more of a slow,
Yeah.
technical shooter. I really like the
Yeah.
Rising Storm expansion they put on there because you can play as the Americans versus the Japanese and go around pinging with the M1 Garand, which like it just had some really good gameplay. And I like all the different roles in the game too and how those play out. It's not like a sort of like a routine class-based system. It's more like you have like a commander, and then you have certain troops that need to fulfill their roles, like a flamethrower guy, and you know there's limited numbers of each role on the team. So
Yeah.
you really got to play your role well. Like if you're a commander, squad leader, then people in your squad spawn on you, and you're basically a mobile spawn point. So it might be a better idea for you not necessarily be in the combat. You need to be taking cover. You need to be calling in targets to the commander, things like that. So it's really involved, and communication is key. And luckily on this game, people actually do talk on voice comms
Yeah.
quite consistently. So
Yeah. So it's a team game. It's more of a team game orientated FPS.
yeah,
So.
it's a team game, and the community plays like that too, which is unique nowadays. Very unique.
Well, yeah, it actually, good point. You know, like for instance, I played Dota 2, man. It's like you jump into a game, it's like straight away, just people just all pick carry. It's like, oh, face palm.
Yeah.
It's a team game, guys. We've got to pick a comp, good
Yeah.
composition to win the match. So, but lately I've been getting a few good teams, so
That's good.
hasn't been too bad. But yeah, you want to move over to
Yeah.
Mass Effect
Yeah, man.
Andromeda.
Yeah, I know you wanted to talk about this. I definitely played the last three. Obviously, the third one had an odd ending, but I'm still excited to play this. I thought it was going to be Mass Effect 4, but they came out on Andromeda.
Well, I kind of like the whole new, because I think they're going with a whole new story with it, yeah? Like, that's the whole idea.
That's good.
So-
I like that aspect. I don't know if it's a prequel yet or if it's set in the future. I don't know if they said.
Yeah. Well, I think the idea behind it was that it was going to be a whole new sort of Mass Effect. And so it did look pretty good. I mean, like from what little glimpses we saw, it did look pretty damn intense, So I'm actually looking forward to this. Obviously, I'd love to see some in-depth gameplay like we saw with Doom. I'd like to see some of that, a long-ass gameplay trailer. But, that's being hopeful. But hopefully we'll see some of that soon. In the meantime, this was actually one to look out for. It did look really cool.
Yeah, I wish we got to see more though. That's all I wish we got to see. All we got is a minute 51 cinematic trailer. No gameplay
Yeah.
really. So
Yeah.
and some of it was like I don't know. It was like a weird choice of music. It was Johnny. I think it was Johnny Walker or something. I'm not Johnny
Yeah.
Walker. Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I don't know. It was different. It looked like a western or something at first. I didn't know what I was watching, and then I finally saw, turn around with
Cowboys in
the
space.
I saw the N7 armor. I was like, oh, okay, all right, it's Shepard or Mass Effect some way. But yeah,
Yeah, but I like that if they do that into the story, like if they actually make a really good storyline, I'd really
space
that's what,
western, that'd be awesome.
yeah.
Why not?
I mean, well, sometimes a good storyline can carry a game, man. Like I've seen it in the past, so hopefully a good if they have a really good storyline, I'll be getting into it. So anyway. So you want to? So there's not much. I mean, there's just a trailer. I can't really talk about much with a trailer, right? Just what we're hopeful for.
Yeah.
Hopefully E3 doesn't pull another, that's another company that's pulled a lot of, no, EA.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I was a big fan of the first three. I like BioWare in general. I feel like they let me down a little bit maybe with Dragon Age Inquisition, so I'm hoping they can redeem themselves with Mass Effect.
Yeah, well, see, I thought the Dragon Age, like, I don't know, Dragon Age got so many good reviews, but I just never got into it, man. Like, I started playing the first, probably for like a couple of hours. I was like, this is boring. Like, what happened, because they're using the D&D engine, right? It's like, what happened to customization? Any D&D game that I've kind of played just had so much customization, and they just threw it out the door with these pre-made classes, sort of, and it was just boring as fuck,
Yeah,
for me when I played the Dragon Age series. I just was bored. Like I got bored really quickly. I don't know why.
well, I love the.
Maybe it's just
I
me.
mean, I love the first one. The first one I thought was amazing, but
Yeah.
Inquisition let me down. Though is what I meant. And I mean,
Also,
not as much as Dragon Age 2, but Inquisition was definitely better. But I never finished it. So I mean, that's got to tell you something. Whereas Witcher 3, I definitely feel like I'm going to finish that eventually. I started over a second playthrough because I wanted
yeah.
to restart my decisions and pay a little bit better attention to the story. So I'm loving that game, but I just don't see myself putting that much time into Dragon Age. So
Well, see, for me, even the first Dragon Age, I got into it. It was just like, no, I'm quitting. So just because, like, it was kind of like it was. I mean, look, the game looked really well. It's just for me, it was like the gameplay. I was used to that, that real D&D. We're talking Baldur's Gate 2 kind of thing. I was hoping to relive that experience, but I just wasn't getting it, and I was just like, fuck it,
yeah,
uninstall. So.
all right.
So that was for me with the Dragon Age series. I mean, I don't know, maybe it was just me, but it was just got rave reviews when like I didn't think it was like a 9 out of 10 game anyway.
No.
That's, especially with all the Dragon Age series. So,
All right, so we had one more we wanted to, or no, we got a couple more actually. But the
yeah,
next one is actually something I was really excited to see. This was a brand new IP coming in from Ubisoft, and something I had no idea was coming at all. This Ghost Recon Wildlands, so a new entry into the Ghost Recon series.
yep,
Basically, like a open world, 4-player co-op. Sort of like mercenary type game. Actually reminded me a lot of Mercenaries, which I played both of those back on the PlayStation.
yeah,
And this reminded me of that, but with 4-player co-op, being introduced to it, where you can go and take down different enemy bases and do different operations and objectives, assassination things. Just looked like the type of open world game that I would love to play normally by myself, but adding in co-op to that just
yeah,
makes this game like go way over the top for me, because I have a good solid group of like two or three friends that we play like pretty much everything together that comes out that's co-op or
yeah.
multiplayer.
Well,
So
looking at that
this looks
jungle pick,
perfect.
man, that jungle pick, man, damn, that looks good because that looks like actual gameplay, like a screenshot of gameplay.
Yeah, it looked like they had
Um,
gameplay on the trailer.
yeah,
It looked this good, but it's Ubisoft. It might look like shit in 2 years' time. Who knows? So,
yeah.
they might pull another division, but I'm excited for the gameplay aspect. I thought it all looked good.
They
What'd you
should,
think of that?
yeah. Yeah, well, it looks really like it looks good now, right? They might want to put a disclaimer there. This, footage may not appear what it appears now in 2 years' time. So,
Yeah,
so I mean, they might want to put those disclaimers there. But, like I was actually liking this, and I think co-op's something that it's a market that's sort of not as popular as it should be. Like, I think I would really appreciate really good co-op games, and this is one
yeah,
that definitely looks like a lot of fun. So I like co-op's actually a lot of fun. It's just I reckon it's really underrated, especially for casual gaming as well.
yeah. I
So
mean, me and my friends love it. I mean, any game that comes out, it's always like the first thing we check. Like, is there co-op? Is there co-op? Because we always want to play
yeah,
together, because we have so much more fun if we play together. We're more likely to play a game, and
yeah,
if a game has co-op, then it's usually like what sells it for us. Like, even if it's not as good as some other games that we play that are single player, we'll be
yeah,
willing to play them just because they are co-op, and it's something we could do.
yeah.
It's something we could do together and have a laugh.
Exactly right. But I mean, imagine if they could get the co-op really, well done. Like you do this, you go in, you got to take out this guy whilst you're sneaking around. If they can get sort of like a simultaneous thing going there, that'd be really good.
Yeah,
Like simultaneous objectives, and you sort of depend on each other. That'd be really cool. Like if they can get that aspect down pat,
yep.
I'd be really impressed. I'd be like, "Whoa, this is going to be some awesome co-op," So
Well, that's what
Yeah,
they.
I mean,
That's how they make it. That's how they always make it look in the stage demos. Like when they were doing the gameplay of this, they bring out like their A teams on stage, and they're like, "Roger that, Echo 6, moving into pull aggro." I'm like, "Pull aggro." I'm like, "What the fuck are you playing right now?" Like you're honest. Like who talks like this? Nobody talks like this. Just talk like you're talking to your friends playing a game.
yeah, yeah,
It's like, yeah, I
yeah.
gotta pull aggro, Echo 6. Why don't you pull up? Why don't you pull up the iOS Ubisoft app and tell me where the enemy position is? Okay, Roger that, team leader. It's like no one talks like this when they play games with friends. Come on, be real,
Yeah.
bros. Be real. That's all I'm saying.
Like,
Is
yeah,
be real.
I'm 110 pounds. Well, okay, man. You're 110 pounds, but like you're talking like you're a 200-pound soldier. Come on, man. Let's get back to reality here.
They did the same thing with the Division and Rainbow Six Siege. They do it with all these games. It's like it's so fake. I hate seeing that at E3. It's hilarious.
Yeah, so yeah, I wish kind of with the co-op demos, I wish it'd be like in Australia, it'd be like, yeah, mate, you fucking just go do this while I fucking do this. And that'd be like the co-op.
It's all right. Fire on 3, 2, 1,
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, mate, I'm just gonna fucking roll in here while you just go do that. Fucking.
Oh wait,
thing.
hang on. My mom's
that's-
calling me.
yeah.
That's like you hear Dex like, yeah, hang on. My mom's
Yeah.
calling me.
Yeah, it'd be awesome, man. Oh man, I miss Australia, dude. I mean, it's just so laid back. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So that'd be but they're definitely I agree with the co-op demos. They've really got to sort of make it more realistic. Like Echo 6.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. Who talks like
Echo
that?
6 pulling aggro. All right, so this game looks good. I'm looking forward to trying this out. Hopefully, we get a beta at some point or something and get hands on with it. But next game was something that I don't think anyone saw coming, and it's this game Unravel. Looks really, really cool. Really cool, like puzzle, like physics-based puzzle platformer. Sort of reminds me of like Limbo or Ori and the Blind Forest, but really, really nice graphics. Man, the visuals in this looked incredible, and like the rope physics and all that just looked awesome. And I can't wait to try this.
Well, I mean, every time I've watched, like, if I've watched a Tech Syndicate video, he's got that Trine. I've never even played it. He's got this Trine. I mean,
I love that game series. It's so good, man.
It just looks like this is something that looked like he'd frap over. This is just like woo. It's like as soon as I saw this, his channel came to mind. Like he'd love this sort of genre. It looks really cool though. Like honestly, from what we saw with the fluidity of the water when he's fishing and stuff like that. It looked really good. Like this looks like one game to look out for. Like I was really impressed with this gameplay trailer. Like this was really good. And I think that it sort of blew everyone away. Like what, this small company from, what was it, Sweden or whatever, just developed this game?
I think they're Italian maybe. Everything on their page is in Italian, so I'm pretty sure they're Italian.
Okay, like I just read Sweden somewhere. I don't know why, but it looked really, really good. It's like this small company just comes out with this awesome looking game. So I'm really keen to see what this offers.
Yeah.
So this looks awesome.
Yeah, I have no idea when it's coming out, but it looks good, and I want to see more of it. It's just sort of one of those kind of like cutesy little characters, and I just have a feeling it's going to be really good when it finally does come out. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they actually pull this one off and don't let us down.
Yeah.
But I think that's basically. Sorry, go ahead.
It's a company with no kind of track record, yeah. So I mean, I'm giving them. I'm really enthusiastic about it. Like if it had Ubisoft plastered on it, for example, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really enthusiastic about this because I love sort of like these independent developers or small companies giving it a go, and that's that really excites me. So this is definitely one of those games that's really exciting and one to look out for. Because sometimes they're the games that just, they come out and they're just unexpected. And it's just like, wow, this game's awesome.
Yeah, no one saw this coming in. It's just like, whoa, what is this? It's like, everyone's like, ooh, what's this? Something new? You mean it's not a sequel or a remake? Please tell me more.
So,
what is this? What is this new from EA? This cannot be true.
Yeah. So, anyway, so that's, I mean, I don't have much else to say about this one. But,
no. But that was
you want to move?
Well, yeah, that was the end of our main major topics. We do have sort of like a back list of some other games here, which we're going to kind of just go back and forth, really kind of like a quick fire, sort of just fire off like 30, 45 seconds each on each one, give our thoughts on it really quick. But while we're doing that, why don't you guys go ahead and tweet any of your questions right now to us at Tech Gaming Weekly. You look down below our windows down there. It's TEK Gaming Weekly on Twitter. You can fire us your questions on there. And after we go over these last few games here, then we'll go into your questions. So go ahead and bring up the list. And the first one here that I have is Metal Gear Solid 5, which is one of my most beloved franchises. Been playing them for forever, really. And just, I can't wait for this game. It's Kojima's last game going out of Konami, so looking forward for that aspect. And just because of their pedigree, really, of the series. I have never been let down with a Metal Gear Solid game to date. I've played all of them. I've beaten all of them and loved every single one of them along the way. What about you, Brian? Are you looking forward to MGS?
Well, see, I haven't really followed the Metal Gear Solid franchise too much, except on the original on the PlayStation. Yeah, that's when it was originally first released. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed it back then. Like, it was really good. So just wait, I just go. You'll have to carry a little bit, man. I just got to get my. He wants to play with the microphone. Sorry, dude.
That's all right.
I'll just quickly pull him out just a sec.
That's all right.
Little baby.
So
no.
we'll go into
you just carry for a sec.
Yeah, that's right. The next one I had on this list was Dishonored 2, which is actually a big announcement. And that game won I think Game of the Year from. See,
There you go. Say bye bye.
bye bye. So yeah, Dishonored 2 was sort of like an expected sequel. I think people were expecting this from Bethesda, but it really didn't even really get that much notice over the past few days. Even though the first one was like a Game of the Year contender, and I think it did win Game of the Year from some outlets. It was a great game, a great new IP, and I think a lot of people have been waiting for this sequel. And yeah, I was really impressed. I couldn't believe, not impressed, I should say. I couldn't believe that there wasn't as much talk about Dishonored 2 as there were some of the other games there, but I'm still looking forward to playing it just as much as a lot of these games here. But I just think they wound up getting overshadowed during this year's E3 because there just were so many big announcements of sequels and new games just coming out, and games that people have been waiting for forever. Did you see Dishonored 2? Were you excited to see that, or did you not even play the first one, Brian?
I didn't even play the first one, so
That's all right.
sorry for that
That's all right.
interruption before, but yeah, it's a good interruption. I love it. It's my little boy. So
well, that's all right. That's all right. I took a good minute on Dishonored 2. I think we can move on from there. The next one.
That's it.
Sorry, go ahead.
Did we talk about Adrift? I think that got a big.
Oh no, I didn't have that on.
array.
I didn't have that on here. What did you want to say on it?
Well, it looked really different. I think that's what people got excited about. Like, it was just this in space sort of. What would you call it? Just like simulation or something? Like,
it's basically Gravity the movie, but the video game. It's basically Gravity the video game.
It looks
space station gets
really
blown up
cool.
and survive. It looks cool for Oculus Rift. I can't wait for that aspect. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So I mean that did look really different. I was just like, whoa, what's this? So
Yeah,
the graphics look pretty good.
Oh yeah, Unreal Engine 4 looked fantastic.
Yeah, and so I mean, I'm waiting for that. That looks really cool. But I hope it's not one of those games where you kind of just jump in and like for the first hour it's like, okay, cool. But then once you get used to it, you're kind of like, this is boring.
Yeah.
So I kind of that kind of scared me. That kind of looked like you were gonna like it was gonna be hard to learn how to play it, but once you learned how to play it, you'd get bored of it quickly. That's kind of what it looked like to me. I hope it's not. I hope that isn't the case though. I hope they add a lot more interaction with it. So
Yeah,
you've got to.
I think it's going to be great just for the experience, really, on VR. I think that's going to be the big selling factor for me on that. It's one of those games I'm going to want when I get a VR headset. I'm going to want a VR headset just to play that game because I'm a space nut, with like Gravity and Interstellar. I mean, that's really got me back into space big time, and I love watching space movies. So I'm looking forward to actually experiencing space in first person.
Well, I mean, if they just want a big player base, all they got to do is add some aliens in there, big ass gun, you're good to go. You're selling a game,
Pretty much, it's pretty much all they would have to do.
Well, there's always got to be the bad guy. So,
all right. So next game I had on here is, I'm not sure if you're a fan of the series, but I am, and I've streamed it before, so I know some of my subscribers are. It's American Truck Simulator. Did you play Euro Truck or no? Is that another one?
No, I didn't.
No,
Didn't play that. So
no.
you missed me again.
Another one we're missing you on.
I'll let you carry this one. Yeah.
Well, I love the Euro Truck series. It's such an awesome open world. More than just a simulator. A lot of people hear about like, oh, so you just drive trucks. I'm like, well, yeah, you drive trucks, but you manage a company. It's almost like an RPG where instead of playing a fantasy character, you're a truck, or a truck business owner, and you hire other drivers and level up and unlock skill points in the skill tree and upgrade your trucks and all that. And it really isn't like a role playing game more or less, but
Yeah, it
with
sounds awesome.
with a
Eh?
realistic
Like,
simulator aspect of it with being a truck driver. So it's
yeah.
like an RPG in the real world almost.
So what's it called? Euro Trucks. I'll probably have to get that on the Steam sale as well. You gotta.
Yeah, Euro Truck Simulator 2. I saw it on there for like 450. It's dirt cheap.
I'm getting that as well as the Rising Storm. So
Yeah, and there's really good mod support for it too.
sweet.
So
You got me hooked on some games. I got to get some of these.
Yeah, so the next two we had on here were basically from the same press conference, were the Shenmue 3 and Last Guardian. Shenmue 3, I'll be honest, I never played the first two Shenmues, but I know a lot of people are excited about it, so that's why I wanted to bring it up. And I don't like what they did with the whole Kickstarter aspect of it, though. I was basically against that.
Well, I think see with Star Citizen, yeah, that was that got a huge funding from crowdsource funding. And I think some companies are kind of taking onto it and like, all right, if we release a good trailer or a good demo, we'll just get tons of money.
Yeah, well, this was so much in our face, though. I mean, it was Sony presenting it. Sony is a publisher. A publisher is the people that spend the money to make a game. It's like, why are you running a Kickstarter when you are the money? You have more money than Kickstarter's ever going to give this game, so why are you asking for more money? It's ridiculous.
Well, in
absolutely
recent
absurd.
times, I think Sony's had to take a step back. I think their balance sheet hasn't been looking that good in the last few years. So, like of course, the CEO is still getting a mad pay packet. He's still, driving a Ferrari, whatnot. But, you got to go to Kickstarter. So you have to go to Kickstarter. Just take money off the average Joe. I think that's socially acceptable nowadays.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a joke, isn't it? To be honest, it's a fucking joke. But yeah, if you got Sony behind you, you shouldn't be having a Kickstarter page. That's for sure.
Certainly not.
That's
What about the other one, Last Guardian? What did you think of that? Finally getting announced.
I actually have to check it. Sorry, I missed that completely. Last Guardian. So
I
know it got a lot of rave.
Yeah, because they showed it like years ago, like 7-8 years ago. They showed like a first trailer. It was supposed to be coming out on the PS3. Now we're on the PS4, and we finally saw some more gameplay of it for the first time in a long time. It's from the developer that did Shadow of the Colossus, which was one of my favorite games on the PS2. So they have.
Oh yeah, sorry, I did see this. A little kid with the big animals.
Yep,
Yeah,
like a lizard bird dog, basically.
It looked good. It looked good. It's just for me, if I'm playing a role-playing game, I don't want to be a kid. Like just putting it out there, Like for me, like I'm going to quickly mention Zelda here for some reason, but like the Zelda series, it was more of a young teenager at the very least, or more of an. And then they made it for the, I think it was what was that? The Cube. It wasn't the Nintendo Cube or something, GameCube. Yeah, and then they made the animated Zelda, and I just wasn't a fan, man. It was like, okay, like I don't enjoy playing a kid as my main character. Like, yeah, and so for me, as soon as I saw the kid as the main character, it's like these squealy little voices, like, it's like, for me, I teach this every day. I teach
kids.
It's like, come on, I want a break. I don't want to have to hear this crap on my video game too. Just the kid. If they change it to an adult, man, I'd be into it.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's just for me.
All right, gotcha.
I mean, but besides that, sorry, the graphics did look amazing. Like the engine looked really good. Like that aspect of the game.
The feather physics look really cool on the lizard dog thingy.
It did look cool. It's just for me, I had to point that out. The whole playing a kid as the main character just doesn't cut it for me. Like it's one of those things that I guess I'm just really don't like. So,
okay, interesting point. All right, well, let's get on to some more adult games then. We have a couple of adult games next, which were Hitman and Tomb Raider from Square Enix. Hitman's getting another game, so yeah, they're getting another hit. We're getting another Hitman. And Tomb Raider, which is an Xbox exclusive at launch, but it's not coming out for PS4 or the PC until a later date. We don't know exactly when yet, but we know that it's going to be on Xbox One this holiday. So I'm looking forward to it because I like the last Tomb Raider a lot and all the Tomb Raiders really. So I guess
Tomb Raider's always had a
go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Tomb Raider's always had a good following. Yeah. I mean, it's always a solid game. It's always been a game that's just been decent at the very least. So I'm actually excited for Tomb Raider. Hitman as well. I'm excited for that, kind of.
Yeah, no,
Not
I'm
as
not.
much as
Yeah,
Tomb
I'm
Raider.
kind of like there were so many other games this week that I was just like hit. I was like, okay, there's another Hitman, good to know. But
Mm,
there's a lot more bigger games that I'm way more excited for than that. So, but
yeah.
I'm sure it'll be a decent game. Hitman Absolution was a decent game, and hopefully Tomb Raider is as good as the last. And hopefully we get it
Yeah.
on PC sooner rather than later.
Did we actually see any actual gameplay of Hitman, or was it
No, it was
just
just it was a
yeah,
gameplay trailer. There was a few in-game shots, but it wasn't really like direct gameplay.
yeah,
Whereas like Tomb Raider, they had like a 6 or 7 minute demo of the actual
yeah?
gameplay.
And see, that's why I guess I'm more excited for Tomb Raider. I'm like, remember, like they said gameplay, but it wasn't gameplay. It was
Yeah,
like more of a movie scene from the game.
pretty much.
So yeah, so I'm keen to see Tomb Raider more than I am Hitman, definitely.
Yeah, and
So
I think our last one was one game that you had wanted to talk about was Final Fantasy VII. I believe you told me, right? You wanted to.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
man,
so
like
I know
I
people
saw
would kill
that.
us if we didn't talk about that. So I'll let you take that away because I'm not a big fan
Well,
of the series.
oh, dude, Final Fantasy VII was like the game. Like when I played it back in, was it 1996 or 7? 1997, I actually played it. I think it was released in 96. It was just like, wow. Like here's an RPG and deal with it. And it was just amazing. Like I'm talking countless hours of gameplay from that game, man. When you clocked it, there was things that you could do and they were really challenging. Like the underwater guy, there was the underwater, I forgot his name, but there was these weapons, right? And there
Uh-huh.
was this underwater guy, and he was so freaking hard to beat, man. Like he was ridiculous. The only way I beat him was I got this thing called Lucky Sevens,
Oh,
and if you got it, your character just kept hitting this guy like over and over and over. It was just ridiculous. And then I beat him, and I was like, "Ooh, got carried by Lucky Sevens," you know, because that was the only way I beat him, and I didn't even know this existed. Like
right.
I was just blown away when my character got 7777,
Uh huh.
and it was just, yeah, it was just such a good game. It had so many things that the devs put into it, and you could tell they just spent an awful long time making this game. Like it was just that damn big. It was just a world, like all the spells and everything. Like you had the lightning, you had all
Yeah.
these different spells and things that you could mix. It was just so damn good. And then the story was amazing as well. You're always sort of looking for more, like what Sephiroth and and Cloud, like the two main characters, was so good. Like, the bad guy was really good. He was Sephiroth, he was the main, man, it had like the slums. Like when I saw the slums, I got really excited because that was a part of the game that was just awesome. And like that alone, if they remake that and they do it right, like yeah, I mean it's not hard to fuck it up because they've already got the whole gameplay, GameWorks kind of style already there. So I mean, yeah, that like I'm glad I'm getting a PS4 because if they're going to release
Yeah.
that for a PS4,
Yeah. Basically,
that alone would
just for
be
that.
that alone would be reason to get a PS4 because that just looked amazing. I loved Final Fantasy VII. Like that's one of my besides Baldur's Gate 2 and stuff like that, that's one of those games that's just simply iconic, man. Like for them to remake that, oh yeah, I'm getting
Yeah,
excited.
I know that was probably. I think it's one of the most famous Final Fantasies of all of them, isn't it?
It,
Final
it
Fantasy
is
VII.
it is the most fun. I think it's
Yeah, the
the most
biggest one.
popular.
Yeah,
It's
because
just
like
huge.
even though I've never played a Final Fantasy game, I always hear about Final Fantasy VII all the time. So
It's just like
I know there's a big segment of the community that's just like over the moon for this. I'm not one of them, but
yeah,
I'm glad that just some people are getting the game they want. And,
well, just
good
it
for
took
them.
it up a notch, man. I mean, the open world aspect of it was fantastic. I mean, when you clocked it, you had freedom. You could go here and here. You could go so many different paths. The characters were just all awesome.
Yeah.
I think there was a guy called Vincent. I really liked him. He was like the gun guy.
Uh,
He was just sick, man. It was just an absolute, like, really cool game. You had the chocobos. They were like the riding.
Chocobos.
Yeah, they were really cool, man. So.
Yeah.
I
All
don't
right.
know. It's just it really implemented a lot of aspects. Just yeah, they really did so many good things. And like this was back in 96, 97, So like that's how you make a game, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Let us not forget. They should have put that as like the main thing. Lest we forget Final Fantasy 7.
Yes. All right, so that
So,
was the last game that we had.
well, I did
Unless you
want to talk
wanted to
about one more.
Sure,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Star
Ah,
Fox as
Star
well.
Fox. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
Star Fox.
Star Fox Zero as well. That was another game that I really enjoyed back in the day, man. On the it was the Super Nintendo, man. They first
Yeah,
released it,
the
and it was just for its
N64. I played on
time.
N64. Was awesome.
Yeah, and so I remember they first released it was like, whoa, this game looks awesome, and it was actually a lot of fun to play.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's it's all for gameplay with that game. It looks good. I'm guessing the gameplay will be a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to that. But obviously, I don't want to get a Wii U just for that.
No,
Like they really need to release Zelda. Like they need to hurry the hell up and release Zelda
I
because
still
it's
won't buy
been
a Wii
way
U. They can. I don't care what they put out. They wouldn't get me to buy a Wii U.
true. Yeah, I mean, like if they do a really good job of the Zelda, I would buy a Wii U. So
They would
and
basically, they would
Star Fox,
basically,
yeah.
they would basically have to say, okay, for this, the only way you're going to possibly see the new Star Wars movies ever in the history, and ever for the rest of mankind, is if you buy a Wii U and watch it on the Wii U. It's like, okay, I guess I'll buy a Wii U. That's the only way I'm buying a Wii U, which is just completely
Yeah.
outlandish and ridiculous. It would never happen. So that's
Ah,
basically the
true.
only way I would ever get one.
Well, they're actually like the Wii U's actually a lot of fun. My friend's got one. He brought it over, man. They're actually really good to play, like just so casual. Like some of the games are really laid back. They're really good to play with the family. Like if just like Friday night pizza and beer, really fun. So
Yeah.
I mean, like
They're
I
fun.
would,
They're fun party games like Mario Kart.
yeah,
It's fun, but I wouldn't
awesome.
buy one for to play it like once or twice a year. Maybe if I had a
Yeah.
kid.
Well, well, Mario Kart 8 did look really good. So, I
Yeah.
mean, there are a few games, but they really need to release Zelda, man. Like that game would have gave the console so many more sales if they had released that earlier. Like I think that's the reason why the Wii U's not selling as well as other consoles. They haven't released Zelda. Zelda's like the freaking game of Nintendo.
Yeah.
They need to hurry up and release that game. So, but yeah, that's about it. I've
Yeah.
gone on enough about that.
All right. So we had
Gone from Star Fox to Zelda.
Yeah, so we had a few questions fire in this week before we end the show.
Yep.
The first one, odd question from Poovy Central, wanted to know what is your favorite drink and energy drink. I can actually answer both of these in one answer, and it's coffee.
In one go, yeah, just
Yep.
coffee for both.
Yeah.
Favorite drink would be for me just green tea. Like we're not talking about taste, it's just green tea's so damn good for your health, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
all those
and then for
antioxidants.
yeah, and then for energy drinks, Red Bull all the way, man. I absolutely love Red Bull. And like if you're going out in the town and you're like, even if you're hungover from the yesterday, just a Red Bull, you're all good to go again. Like reload, away I go again. So
right.
it's Red Bull.
So next one in from an interesting name, intellectual testicle. I like your use of rhymes there.
Yeah, we got some
like-
awesome names.
I like your name, man. So he wants to know, what are your thoughts on Oculus Rift?
Oh yeah, like I think it's the future. I think VR. Like I mean, Oculus Rift itself, I'm sort of worried that like you got Nvidia, you got Microsoft, you've got all these companies coming in now with a huge budget, and I'm concerned for Oculus Rift in that they get overtaken by the early adopters. That's my concern for Oculus Rift.
Yeah.
If that's but when it comes to actual VR headsets, I'm really excited. So I'm a little worried for Oculus Rift. I see like Microsoft and kind of, like Nvidia pushing them out of the market. That's just in the next few years. I do see that being a reality, and I hope it isn't because, hats off to the innovators kind of thing. So
Yeah, and I'm equally I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to getting one day one, as long as there are games out at day one to support it, like Adrift. That's one of the games that would basically sell me on it. Like just like a people might buy a console to play, only a few games. I'm basically getting the Oculus Rift to play a few games, and I really just think of it as an extension right now. Maybe it'll grow into being more of an interface, just like a monitor. But I kind of look at it right now as kind of like almost like buying like a Logitech steering wheel or a HOTAS for flight games. It's just sort of an extension that's going to make certain games better by having it. It's just going to make certain games better. So that's
how much
that's
is it
my
going to be
thoughts.
priced at? Do we know the pricing on it?
No, a lot of people are
okay.
thinking like $299 around there because that's like what the dev kits were. But
That's not bad, but honestly, I'd like to have a hands-on demo for a good like hour if I was going to buy that. For some reason, I just want a really in-depth hands-on because I've heard motion sickness, I've heard this and that, and I really would like to try it out
Yeah.
before I bought one. So
Definitely.
yeah, but $299 is really not bad. Like that's a really decent price. Holy moly! So
Yeah. Yeah. So we only had we have time for one more question before you got. I know you
yeah,
got to get going to work.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
our last question that we're gonna be able to take today was from Eric Smart, and he wanted to know what was your favorite announcement that you heard for E3. I know mine right away. It was Gears of War. Gears of War for the PC, hands down. What about you?
For me, Doom.
Doom. So
I was like, yeah, I'm all about that Doom, man. I don't know, for some reason, man. That was my favorite gameplay trailer. I don't know why. I just loved it. I
Yeah.
guess when there was like all the monsters there, and he was kind of like dodge. I mean, and they said that was the easy part. That was the easy mode. Like that was easy part of the level.
yeah.
So imagine what the hard part's going to be like. You're going to have to go this way, boom, boom, boom. Like, that's high APM gaming. I don't know, for some reason, I really love high APM gaming. So, and that looks like it'll cater for that.
Yeah.
Just from the gameplay.
Yeah, so both of us looking forward to shooters, basically. When
Yeah.
Doom and me with Gears of War, and hopefully we get
Yeah.
Gears of War really soon. It excites me that we could possibly be playing that in just a couple of really weeks. It's like 8-9 weeks away until
Yeah.
August 25th. It's really not that far away. It's right around the corner. So
Well, man, they've answered your prayers. So.
yeah, basically. Well, I wouldn't say prayers, but my
No,
dreams.
you have. Every night you've been going to bed. Gears of War. Gears of War.
I've been praying to Gaben. Yes, Gaben, please
That's
deliver, or Ginger Jesus, aka Rod Ferguson. Been praying to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically it. That's going to wrap it up for the E3 discussion, guys. I thought we had another good podcast this week, starting to flow
Yeah.
even better. I thought
Well, that's it. So
yeah.
hopefully the volume levels are perfect. I mean, I
did
did
have
level them out.
I did have my audio cut out in the middle of the stream when we were talking about For Honor again because I was switching applications and it muted me again. But at least it wasn't at the beginning, so people aren't going to turn on the video and be like, "Oh, look, he has no mic."
Yeah.
But
What's going on here? Yeah, and my little boy walked in, but he's all good, man. He gets a pass anytime, so he's a little
Loler
champion.
Lolescu. He wanted me to say his name, so I said his name. Say my name, bitch. So, so that's gonna wrap it up, guys. Thank you once again for joining us. I thought it was awesome, and thanks for sending in your questions. Remember, you can follow us and tweet to us during the shows every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern at Tech Gaming Weekly, and we'll be back again next week. So
Yeah, well, next week we'll be back with more technical.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about more
tech,
and stuff.
way more
Yeah.
tech next week because we had a lot of games this week for basically because of E3. So this is basically like our E3 episode. So
Yeah.
next week it's back to regular schedule where we'll have gaming news and tech news. So
Yeah,
gonna
and
be a
then
lot of stuff there.
Joker definitely carried this, this episode. So like, thanks, Joker. Yeah, because
That's
I'm really love the hardware. So I'm really the hardware guy. But I mean, their E3 was really impressive. There was a lot of good things coming out this year.
Yeah.
In general, I was actually really impressed with the whole event. I thought it was huge this year. Like there was no denying that.
One of the best
So,
E3s in recent memory. It was so good.
That's it.
Yep.
It was. So, all right, man. Yeah, I'm gonna scoot, and I hope you guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to me or Joker, and me and Joker, sorry, and check us out on
No,
Twitter.
just do one or the other. It's a contest. Only me. We're competing for souls.
Donate your souls to my subscription feed now.
And yeah, check us out on Twitter as well. We'll put our handles in the description below, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week on the next live.
Yep.
So-
Yep. Well, I'll see you guys next week. So
Yeah,
I'll
and
catch
don't
you next
forget, if you guys have requests as well, then just pop them into either the 3 Twitters, me, Joker, or the gaming Tech Gaming Weekly Twitter. So
Yep. Links
we'll
down in
see
the
them.
description below for that one, actually. So
Yep.
I will catch you slunts next time. Sure.
All right, see you guys. Bye.